What's crappening? Welcome to Under the Foreskin, a show dedicated to the happenings of the SJU and Misfits Fantasy Football League. My name is Kyle. I'm the head of football operations for the Potomac Pretenders. I'm here with two very special guests today. One's not going to really talk, so we're not going to even talk about him. The other is the COO of the Gnaw Bone Butte Pirates. It's Zach Bissett. Zach, why don't you say hello to everybody?
Hello, everybody.
So we got a great show for you today. This is what we've all been waiting for. Week 1 is in the books. No more are we thinking about our teams as what could be. We now know what they might be, what they are, and we all are either 1-0 or 0-1. So we're going to run through what happened in Week 1. We're going to run through Waiver Wire Wednesday. And, of course, we'll dive into next week's Pick'em with me and Zach on the mic. So let's get it rolling here. Week 1, Under the Foreskin. First off, the Baton Rouge Border Collies headed to Hollywood to take on the Hotties, and they went down hard. 95-78, really tough week for the Border Collies. Stephen Ridley with only 3 points. Trent Richardson with 7 points. Not what the Border Collies are looking for from their top 2 running backs. For the Hollywood Hotties, even worse at running back. 2 points worse to be exact. David Wilson, -3 points. That might be an all-time low for a fantasy number 1 question mark running back. And Eddie Lacy with 11 points. That's a grand total of 8. So Baton Rouge in the lead with the running backs, 10-8. At the receiver position, Nix, Austin, both got a lot of targets, a lot of catches, some decent amount of yards, but no touchdowns, which hurt the Border Collies. And for the Hollywood Hotties, Jason Witten and Shane Breen stole the show, 19 and 16 points respectively. Unfortunately for Shane Breen, he had a numb wrist, which ended up being a broken wrist, which puts him out to Week 11. Sorry, Hollywood Hotties. For the Baton Rouge Border Collies, hoarding defense not looking like a good strategy. He started the Chicago defense for 8 points, with Seattle on the bench for 12. It's going to be tough to pick between A and B every week with those. And I don't know, with Jonas's luck, it might just be the wrong pick every week, it seems like. Might want to look into trading some of those for some stronger depth at wide receiver. Next up, the Gnaw Bone Butte Pirates took on the Poughkeepsie Pandas in a battle of early season powerhouses. I'll run through the matchup, and then we'll chat with Zach on what he thought of the game. 12 points for Mojo and Alfred Morris. Not exactly what Zach was looking for out of 1 and 2 in the running back position. But fortunately, against Poughkeepsie Pandas, CJ Spiller and CJ2K went for 11 points, so advantage Butte Pirates. Thursday Night Football, Demarius Thomas put up 29 points. Nice start for the Poughkeepsie Pandas. Unfortunately, on Sunday Night Football, Victor Cruz, wide receiver for Cruise Control, which you should change your name to, went for 30 points. QB panic is set in Poughkeepsie. Big Ben put up 9 points and has now officially hit the waiver wire for Terrell Pryor, which we will talk about. Zach, why don't you give me your thoughts on this matchup?
Well, let me first start off with I can't change my name because that's $10. Can't afford it right now. We're pretty tight in Gnaw Bone. But, after Thursday Night Football, Demarius Thomas, 29 points. I went to bed, woke up, I'm like, shit, that's a lot of points to come back from. You're right, Cruz Missile did come back with 30 points. That was huge for me.
Cruise control!
Brandon Marshall didn't surprise anybody. He came back, 17 points, was awesome. Monday night, Owen Daniels, 18 points. Almost over triple that he's projected for. That was huge. Love it. I'm going to start streaming defenses, so you heard it first. New York, they're gone. And be ready for the Butte Pirates.
Butte Pirates are ready. Next matchup, Sioux City Smugglers took on the arch rivals, the Buffalo Armadillos. Let me remind you, if you didn't catch last week, the Smugglers have never actually beaten the Buffalo Armadillos. 0-4, 5? 0-4 over the last 3 seasons? 2 seasons. Last 2 seasons. So there's been 2 playoff matches which Buffalo has knocked the Smugglers out. And I believe in both cases, the Smugglers were number 1 seeds. That is correct. Rogers' head is shaking yes. So, for the Smugglers, 110 points, 7 players in double digits. Very nice, solid lineup this week. The only, whitehead on the team was James Jones with 0 points. Play of the week, I think, was right here, Kansas City Chiefs defense. They took on 9-finger Blaine Gabbert and the Jacksonville Jaguars and scored 31 points, which proved to be the difference as Jack's highly drafted or auctioned defense, the New England Patriots, took on Buffalo and only scored 8 points. There's your difference in the game right there. Buffalo Armadillo scored 100 points. 6 players in double digits. A solid week for Jack. I think he couldn't ask for any more out of his team. The only difference maker, Cecil Shorts, the Sioux City Smugglers kryptonite, actually only scored a few points, which was the difference in the game. He fell victim to having Blaine Gabbert, 9-finger Blaine, throwing the ball. Next week, Henny, though, look out. Cecil Shorts might be a big player. Next up, my Potomac Pretenders snuck one out versus the Tallahassee Trouser Snakes in the close call of the week. Colin Kaepernick, 31 points. Larry Fitzgerald, 20 points. A.J. Green, 29 points. Jamal Charles, 15 points. I know you're all jealous. Thank you very much. I also had Brandon Pettigrew, -2 Pettigrew, I'm calling him. He's now not on the Pretenders anymore. And Lamar Miller, my gamble of the year with the big donut. For the Trouser Snakes, Reggie Bush looked fast out on the field, 26 points. Julius Thomas, kind of the breakout of the week, I would say, with 24 points. And Deshaun Jackson back in the game, 17 points. And they were all pretty much in the first half, which gave the Pretenders a scare. So I'm going to break it down. Monday night comes along. The Pretenders are up by about 40 points. Actually, it was Sunday night, before the Sunday night football game, which featured Dallas and New York Giants. Also on the Trouser Snakes is Tony Romo, and also on the Trouser Snakes is Michael Vick. I thought for sure Dave would start Michael Vick so that he could get the Deshaun Jackson-Michael Vick combo to try to make up the big deficit. Nope. Pulled Michael Vick the second before the kickoff and started Tony Romo. Tony Romo scored 16 points. Michael Vick scored 25 points. Those extra 9 points would have been the difference, as the Tallahassee Trouser Snakes would have won 127-120. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. Arian Foster needed 11 points the last game of the week. He only got 8. So that was the difference. The Potomac Pretenders win 1-0 just like last year because I'm the best drafter in the league. Hopefully I can get past the 6-0 barrier this year and try to finish above 500. Next up, Crabstone Prairie Dogs take on the Duluth Draft Dodgers. And they won this game 106-76. The Big Five for Crabstone were a little shaky this week. Fortunately, Adrian Peterson, Aaron Rodgers, and Randall Cobb made up for the fact that Calvin Johnson and Marshawn Lynch didn't do much. 7 points between the two of them. AP did score a touchdown for each of the two guys that didn't score a touchdown, so that's a nice benefit of having a guy like AP. And all in all, they got to 106 points. The Dodgers, 76. Not an awful week out of the guys they were expecting. Forte, 15 points. DeMarco Murray, 11 points. Kind of what I think you get with those guys. Pretty solid. But Garcon, Decker, and Jennings, the wide receiver core, let down a little bit this week and just weren't enough to get past the high-powered Crabstone Prairie Dogs. Next up, Chernobyl Tin Whiskers, arguably the worst team in the league after the auction. They came out swinging. They were upset by last week's Under the Foreskin episode when we ripped them to shreds. And they took on the Waco Wrinkle Beasts and crushed them, 125-77. Now, granted, a lot of those points were on Peyton Manning's back with 47. Nice week, I'd say. Jordy Nelson with 20, though, and Andre Johnson with 15. Pretty solid wide receiver core there. No real negatives on the team. I think Rashard Mendenhall and Daryl Richardson, they were what we thought they were. They scored 7 points each or so. And that's about all you can really ask out of those two. For the Waco Wrinkle Beast, Drew Brees, 20 points. They call him Mr. 20-pointer. Vincent Jackson, 16 solid weeds. Stevie Jackson, maybe overpaid a little bit pre-draft to keep him. But he had a solid week, and he looked pretty good out there, so he's got to be feeling good in Waco. Unfortunately, Monte Ball, the kind of gamble on the Waco Wrinkle Beast, didn't turn out week 1. Hopefully, talent will prevail. Hopefully, the Waco Wrinkle Beast won't be 0-5 before that talent prevails, because he only had 2 points this week, followed by Kyle Rudolph with, I don't even know how many points, maybe 3. Sidney Rice, 3 points. Just kind of a lot of 1s, 2s, and 3s on the squad this week. Not enough to get it done. Last matchup of the week, and albeit it was the blowout of the week, the Polish Sausage Wallets. 130 points, high score of the week. They crushed the Flint Tropics with 67 points. LaShawn McCoy, 25 points. Anquan Bolden, maybe the steal of the draft, with 28 points. Not to mention the Sausage Wallets had a 68-point bench. Pretty damn impressive. Joik Bell, Edelman for the Patriots. Nice weeks on the bench for the Sausage Wallets. Obviously, you can't ask for any more than 130 points, so he's pretty happy. Flint Tropics, it's the healthiest their team is going to be, and they put up 67 points, which makes me a little nervous. Fortunately, Darren McFadden still healthy after week 1. Got to feel good about that. I think that deserves some claps. Nice. Des Bryant, 2 points this week. Who knows if he was playing on a full deck of cards. Sounds like he was hurt. Same thing goes for Roddy White with 1 point. Maybe those guys turn it around this season when they get a little healthy. I guess the only bright spot for the Flint Tropics, Jordan Cameron, Cleveland Browns, had a nice game. 130 yards and a touchdown. So he is solidified at tight end after having Aaron Hernandez ripped off his team for murder charges. So waiver wire Wednesday. Edelman, Joik Bell already were on actually a single team, the Polish Sausage Waltz. Nice flyer drafting there, Seth. Well done. So the number one waiver guy of the week, Brandon Jacobs. Brandon Jacobs might be the new David Wilson / Ahmad Bradshaw. He went for $38 on a $100 fab budget to guess who? Tallahassee Trouser Snakes. Now let's go back a year ago. Who was it? Who was it that the Tallahassee Trouser Snakes took for a large sum of money on the week 1? It was Roy Halou. If only Roy Halou would have prevailed. Unfortunately, Alfred Morris found his way on the Butte Pirates and was a keeper this year for $1. Sorry about that, Dave. Hopefully Brandon Jacobs works out better. Hankerson for the Washington Redskins, wide receiver, went for $21 for Baton Rouge Border Collies. It's a steep little price for a guy who caught 2 touchdowns, though, and Baton Rouge looking for an answer after starting 0-1. And then I don't even know this guy's last name. He's the second wide receiver after Torrey Smith now that Jacoby Jones. Marlon Brown? Is it Marlon? Marlon Brown. I put M. Brown. I didn't know what that meant. Marlon Brown. He went for $11 for the Waco Wrinkleby, so we'll see if he cracks the starting lineup come Sunday. All right, let's get into Pick'em. We're going to start this week. Baton Rouge Border Collies take on the Poughkeepsie Pandas. And for me, this is my upset of the week. I'm taking the Border Collies. Pandas are favored by 7 points. But I think CJ Spiller and CJ 2K, they fizzle again. And I think that the Border Collies, get some confidence back and have a nice week. They got some good matchups. I'm going Border Collies. Zach, your thoughts?
I'm actually kind of with you now that I look at his team. Miles Austin, he's good for double digits. Ridley's going to bounce back. Richardson's good to go. I look at Tyler's team. It's Bo, Spiller, CJ, 2K. They're all pretenders. I'm not with it. Border Collies all the way.
Border Collies all the way. 2 picks go to the Border Collies. Next up, Gnaw Bone Butte Pirates. Zach's team take on the Buffalo Armadillos. 1-0 versus 0-1. Buffalo Armadillos looking to get back on the schneid. Unfortunately, I think this comes down to Cam Newton versus Jay Butler, and I like Cam in this matchup. Other than that, I think the teams square up pretty solid down the way. I'm going Butte Pirates because I think Cam has a monster week, kind of reminiscent of his second half of last season. Zach, your team, your thoughts?
I'll keep it easy. Butte Pirates all the way.
Yeah, I actually wrote blowout of the week. I don't know if I think that. I don't know if I think that this game is even close. I think the Butte Pirates crush them. Sorry, Jack. I think I did hear Butte Pirates. Butte Pirates was what he's looking for. Sioux City Smugglers take on the Flint Tropics. No one jumps off the page for me for Flint. I like the Smugglers this week to continue their winning ways.
Agreed. Roger drafts pretty well. The Flint Tropics looked like shit last week. McFadden. Can we swear on the radio? Ben Tate looks like shit, Green Ellis, I'm not a fan, Doug Martin, Frank Gore, Williams, Walker, Brady, they're consistent. He's going to give him the points to win. James Jones bounce back. Smugglers.
And we're not even sure if Des Bryant or Roddy. Des Bryant's looking like he's going to play. Roddy White might not play with the ankle.
So Roddy's still questionable, right?
The Flint Tropics need those 2 guys to help carry their team. Big wide receivers, probably 2 top 10 wide receivers. If they're not performing, it's going to be a tough season for the Flint Tropics. The Polish Sausage Wallets take on the Waco Wrinklebees. I wrote no notes down for this game, but I took the Sausage Wallets. LaShawn McCoy looks like the real deal again. RG3, started out poor, but came around just fine. I'm going Sausage Waltz over the Wrinkle Beast this week. Zach?
Agreed. I'm looking at RG3. Anquan Bolden had a huge week. Julio Jones is always primed to go off. I'm not sure why there's Sidney Rice still starting in Wake of Wrinkle Beast. Like, that's his best guy, I think. Monty Ball, he's not even starting. Steven Jackson, a lot of yards last week, no touchdowns. That's concerning a little bit. I'm with you. Sausage Waltz all the way.
Sausage Waltz, Zach's going with. Next up, Tallahassee Trouser Snakes take on the Duluth Draft Dodgers. This, I think, is a classic example of upside versus steadiness. David Treadle's team, there's no question, he had a great week last week. Almost snuck it out versus me. Just his own brain got in the way, and he started Romo over Vic. Sorry, Dave. I'm going to go Trouser Snakes because I feel like I'm in a gambling mood. But if I was not in a gambling mood, I'd go Draft Dodgers. I love the steadiness of their team. I just think there's a lot of upside with the Tallahassee Trouser Snakes. Zach, your thoughts?
Kyle, I'm all the way, buddy. You know, I love the Orange Julius trend now. I mean, that was a huge week for him. I love Reggie Bush. You know, I love guys that have new scenery, and they always perform well. They want to impress new fans and new coaches. Arian Foster, how can you go wrong with that? Michael Vick. It's Snakes all the way. Sorry, Dodgers.
All right. Next up, the Crapstone Prairie Dogs take on the Chernobyl Tin Whiskers. For the Crapstone Prairie Dogs, looks like they're playing the 2 tight end big set. Is that right?
Start over again.
Okay.
We already did this because this is the first one we did, right?
No, we did.
We did Tyler.
We did Tyler and Jason the first one.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we had to do Crapstone Prairie Dogs.
The last one is Poughkeepsie Pandas. No, it's Potomac
because
Pretenders.
it's Tyler.
It's Potomac Pretenders. It's my team.
It's yours. So, here's the last one.
It's easy. It's easy. So we're on Crapstone Prairie Dogs or Chernobyl.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think we've done that.
3, 2, 1. Crapstone Prairie Dogs take on the Chernobyl Tin Whiskers this week. 2 tight end big formation for the Crapstone Prairie Dogs. They are starting both. What is it? Jermichael Finley and Jared Cook. Nice. 2 nice tight ends with nice weeks. Wow, that sounded gay. For Crapstone Prairie Dogs, you know, I think that big 5 is tough to stop, especially for the Chernobyl Tin Whiskers, who had arguably the worst draft possible, but had a nice week 1. I think they're actually ahead of me in the standings. They're second place. I'm third. Outscored me week 1. Well done, Chernobyl. Peyton Manning is not going to throw 7 touchdowns every week. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen. Jordy Nelson might have a nice week, but I'm going Crapstone Prairie Dogs in this one. Zach.
I'm with you, bud. You know, you look up pretenders in the Webster Dictionary, you're going to find the Chernobyl Tin Whiskers. 2 terrible drafts, 2 years in a row. You know, you look at their fucking running backs. Mendenhall, Richardson, terrible.
Let's clarify. D. Richardson, not T. Richardson.
Very correct. And he's flexing Golden Tate. I'm just running down Prairie Dogs lineup. You know, how do you go wrong with Peterson, Lynch, Finley, Cook, Walsh, Rogers, Cobb, Calvin Johnson?
Sickening.
Blowout of the week. You heard it first, right here.
Crapstone wipes out the Chernobyl Tin Whiskers. Classic. Get it? You know what happened in Chernobyl? There was a disaster. Last game of the week. My Potomac Pretenders, speaking of pretending, take on the Hollywood Hotties. 3 question mark running backs for the Hollywood Hotties this week. David Wilson, Eddie Lacy. What's the guy from D'Angelo Williams is the Carolina back. You know, all of those 3, they could easily all score 15 points, and they could easily all score -3 points. Hashtag David Wilson. I like the Pretenders receivers a lot better than the Hollywood Hotties receivers. I'm going Pretenders this week, but I pick my team every week. So with that said, Zach, you're the only voice of reason here. Who do you like?
I'm sorry, Kyle. I got to go Nick and Jack here. I'm a big Green Bay fan. I'm going Eddie Lacy big this week against a porous Redskin defense. You heard it first. I like Russell Wilson, Wisconsin boy. You know, this is your homer pick of the week. Sorry.
Homer pick of the week, you heard it. Sometimes cheese overrides mental competency. Well, that'll do it for Under the Foreskin Week 2. A very special thank you to Zach. Actually, you know what? I want to add another segment in here. I'm going to add this off the fly. every week when I have a guest in the show, in this Under the Foreskin Studios, pardon me, I would like them to pick the season-long winner and why. So who's going to win? Not the regular season. I'm talking the playoff. Who wins and why? Roger was here last week. We're going to get his thoughts right now, and then we'll go to Zach. Zach, Roger, season-long winner and why?
Oh, season-long winner? It's for me, it's going to be, obviously, I'm kind of partial to my own team, but Crepstone Prairie Dogs look pretty good, so, between the two, I'm going to take my own team. I feel like the Sioux City Smugglers, I feel like, you just got to get into the playoffs, and once you're there, anything can happen. So I'm going to go with the Smugglers. I think we got the right stuff to win it all this year. Zach?
Thank you, Roger. I agree with you. I think the Alex Dunn team with the Prairie Dogs is a tough team. They drafted really well. They had 3 awesome keepers. But like yourself, I'm going to go with my own team, the Butte Pirates. If we stay healthy, how can you go wrong with Victor Cruz Missile, Brandon Marshall,
Cruise control!
Alfred Morris, MJD. Owen Daniels had a great week. I can flex Chris Ivory if I want or not.
Lucky.
Cammy Newton, a great keeper. I'm pulling for myself this year. I'm all about the Butte Pirates. Love my team. Got a rep. Kyle, what do you think?
I'm actually not going to comment this week because there's going to come a week when there's no one in studio and I'm going to have to share my own thoughts on this. So I'm going to leave those two with their own thoughts, and then we're going to end it for the week. Thank you very much for listening. As always, follow us on Twitter at SJU Misfits and on YouTube, youtube.com/SJU and Misfits. Until week 3, good luck out on the field. Adios.